Hello, this is FDVs with Direg, here to bring you the very first episode of Learn to Play, where we take Bronze League heroes and turn them into Silver League villains. If you don't know what Bronze League heroes is, just go check out Husky's channel, and he will show you the awesomeness. Today we will be looking at the very basics of Terran economics. So when I start in, the very first thing I'm going to want to do is hotkey my command center and start building workers. It's the most important thing. When I get on 9 supply here, going to want to build my supply depot. Make sure to shift click back to the mineral line so that the worker returns to work, and keep building workers. Specifically, right now we will be looking at how to do a 1 ranks expand. This is a very basic one. I know that Thorzane, for example, will often take a gas, but this is going to be literally 1 barracks into expansion. Straight into expansion. You will see that I'm always constantly producing workers, and whenever I send a worker to build, I shift click back to make sure he returns to the mineral line. That is extremely important. Just because if the worker doesn't go back to work, you end up with a bunch of idle workers, nothing really gets done, nothing's happening, and your income plummets. Now, I'm going to be waiting now, producing workers constantly still, but not building any major structures, until I have enough resources to expand, rallying my barracks out there so that I can begin producing Marines right away. Now this game is without any opponent, so I will not need to worry about defense. Didn't want to have to think about that while explaining the very basics. You will notice that I immediately sent my worker to the I sent it before I had the resources so that I could immediately start building. And I want to take a gas about now. If I don't take a gas, I won't be able to tech, so taking that gas is important. Although when this next worker is done, I'm going to, instead of building another worker, I'm going to be getting my orbital command. You always want to get orbitals as Terran, and you want to get them as early as possible. I did delay it a bit to get this gas, but tech is very important. You see here that I am close to supply, so I am going to take that and build a supply depot before reach my supply cap so that I can continue to build. Accidentally sent one there. You only want 3 SCVs in every geyser. And I'm going to immediately send a mule down. You always want to have mules, never supply drops. There is almost no situation in which a supply drop is better than a mule. I'm floating a little bit of resources here because I am not building units or production. As soon as that command center finishes, make it straight into an orbital and continue to build SCVs. Put 3 in each geyser, very important. You will notice these numbers here. The maximum workers you can have and continue to gain income is 24. But, and this is very important, 24 is not the best amount to have. And again, you'll notice I'm floating resources. Don't worry about it. This is more about how to get an economy than how to spend your money. Later episodes will involve how do I spend my money when we talk about production. Now, one thing you can do is when you are on to base, you will want to produce 2 supply depots at a time. You will now notice I am at 14. I have these 2 here, so there's a total of 16 workers on this base. 16 is the optimal probe count, or SCV count. Any more workers than this, and you begin to lose minerals per minute per worker. Every unit right now is worth 40, and they will continue to produce as optimally as possible. So I now rally my workers down here and continue to produce. You want 16 workers on minerals, 6 total on gas. Always shoot for this. You'll notice right now that I am on 2 base. In total, I will eventually want 3 bases like this. That is the optimal amount for Terran and for Protoss when it comes to worker saturation. With that, I'll be able to produce all the tech I need, all the units I need, and everything else. And you'll notice I'm always dropping mules as soon as I possibly can. A little trick you might want to know, sort of semi-advanced, but not too hard to remember, is that not all mineral patches are equally close to the command center. Then when you drop a mule, they're on a timer. So if you drop them on the closer mineral patches, they will actually mine more. And you'll notice I did miss some SCV production, not totally perfect, but the idea is to keep it going. You really don't want to have 3. I did mess up a little there, doesn't matter, I could cancel it, but frankly I'm not going to. Going to quickly put these into the gas, make sure I have that coming. And this is how you get an economy. Notice it did not take me too long. It is true that I skipped more than a few things that I could have built. Did have some technical problems. For some reason, Fraps does interfere with my mouse control every so often. Not sure why, and you will notice I'm about to hit optimal worker saturation on this base. Also, another thing, when you do have your orbital commands down, you always want to be placing mules on the least defensible of your command centers. In short, because this has 2 ramps defending it, we do not want to throw mules down here. We want to take minerals from the more in-risk position first. And that is the basics of Terran economy. Remember, when you build... Okay, so to recap this very first episode, we want to constantly be producing workers. To have 16 workers on minerals, 3 in each geyser. When we build supply depots, we want to build 1 supply depot at a time for every base we have. So if we're on 1 base, we build 1 depot. If we're on 2 base, we build 2 depots at a time. On 3, 3. You get the idea. We want to get our orbital commands as soon as possible, and we never, ever, at any time, want to use supply drop. I want you to forget this exists. It's not there. You don't see it. You want to use mules, and you always want to mule in the least defensible location possible. And that is the basic of Terran economics, brought to you by FDV's